So this is from different angle. We've took off. There was one screw over here and one screw over here. As you can see, there's quite a bit of zip ties everywhere. So what else we're gonna do? This is the tube for the waste ink over here that is going to this waste ink tank. So this is the first thing that is in the way, so we're gonna do some changes to that over here, because this tube is way too long over here and it's always in the way if you wanna remove the paper roll if you are doing some repairs to the printer. So we're gonna make this tube a bit shorter over here and connect it directly here to the waste ink tank over here. So you can see there's much more, the tube is much more longer than it should be. So we're gonna cut it, I don't know, let's say somewhere over here. Pull that out, push that in. All right, so this is what we want. We don't want to have this tube going all around the printer. Just put this aside for a moment. All right, so I'm thinking we should get rid of all these zip ties because they're not really necessary. Sometimes they are good, but then when you're doing repairs over here, you are kinda in the pickle because everything is in the way. And you can see that also the pump cable is also zip tied over here, and so how are you supposed to replace the pump when the time comes is if anything, everything over here is zip tied. Their zip ties are good, but not too much. But I'm gonna have to remove them at least for some time. Okay, so this is the cable for the paper roll over here, and there's also one ground wire over here that's gonna hold the paper roll to the chassis, so we're gonna have to remove that temporarily as well. All right, so we said that we could try to unscrew these two screws that are holding the paper roll in place. They act like stands for the paper roll, so I'm thinking that's gonna be the best way to pull out the paper roll, because we don't need to pull it out all the way, we just need to unhook it from the chassis that we're gonna pull out. Okay, so let me just see if I'm gonna be able to unhook it now. I'm not completely sure, but I think it should pop out. Okay, yeah, so this is what we want, and we already said this is the cable, probably for the power supply for the lamp. We're gonna see where this is ending. So we got the paper roll unhooked, and ground wire is not hooked up. Okay, I think nothing is in the way on the right, in the rear, and let's just see what else do we need to release over here. Oh yeah, so we do have these screws over here as well that we already got rid of on the right side, but we do have these two, one on the left, so it's kind of bit in the back over here, and one on the right. We're gonna have to remove those two as well, but let's just first deal with each side over here, and we're gonna remove the front over here, so we're kind of going into circle. All right, so let me just get the cutters, because I do see this is the wire for the mixer over here. I think not all printers have this, but we surely don't want to have this cable hooked with zip tie on the chassis, because if you're doing repairs you might tear it off. All right, so let me see, let's do this small one first. Okay, so the same thing goes for this too. We have to hold them from below. We have to open up the box over here. So what's this? This is something that shouldn't be here. Probably something to soak up the water that is leaking from the tubes. I don't know, I'm guessing that that's why this is here. Okay, we're gonna have to check that out. If it's, I'm guessing it's not leaking too much. Let me just see where the screws are. All right, so I'm gonna need the other pliers. Okay. Think I can hold it with hand now, if that's gonna be possible. I think so. Yeah. So it would be better if the manufacturer just kept the original holes and screws, but it is what it is. This makes the thing much more complicated than it should be. Yeah, I can hold it with the hand, and I don't see what I'm doing with the pliers, so it's kind of tricky. Let me just try with other hand, and okay, I think this is working. Okay, I got it off. So we're gonna screw that back on, just it. We don't want to lose that. Right, another one. Let's see. It's also tight as well. All right, so there's a very little space over here to be holding pliers, and maybe it looks kind of easy, but it's really not. Okay. This is a bit more easier than the first one. Got that one as well. All right, so I'm gonna put them aside. So let's see. We're gonna move to the front for a moment, and there are some printers that have these parts separately, but as far as I can tell, this one is all one piece, so maybe the best thing to go about it is to also like the rear side to remove these screws that are holding this front stands, which are similar like the rear ones. But other than that, we do have some screws here on each side. So let's just deal with this first. Okay, that was pretty easy. So we have 4 screws over here, and we're not gonna put back all 4 of them. We're just gonna put back 3, because this part is usually removed all the time when you have to put another pump inside and stuff like that. So these 3 are more easier to be screwed in than the 4th one. So we're gonna remove this, and we're not gonna put him back because yeah, it's spinning. I'm gonna have to hold it. Also with the pliers over here if I'm gonna be able to do this. All right, so that's the one we're not gonna be leaving in later. Okay, so we got everything released on the right side. Let's see what we have to do on the left side. Left side, the stand is already removed, so I'm thinking that's gonna be this one is holding for sure, and maybe there's one more over here in the middle. Let's just see if it's gonna pop up or not. It would seem, yeah, there's one more over here, and this is done pretty good. You have some cut over here to put the screw, so you can put the screwdriver inside to unscrew this one that is holding here in the middle. Okay, so we should be able to pull it out. All right, so it's gonna stand like this. We got the paper roll released, and one thing that we're gonna have to do, but we're gonna do it the last. We can even unhook the waste ink tank over here. So kind of got unhooked by itself, so probably maybe the pump is not functional at all, because this was too easy to unplug all of this. But let me just try to pull up this tube over here, which is kind of in the way also. I'm gonna put it over here. All right, so the only thing that is still left is these two from behind the chassis, and it's gonna be hard to get them off, I think, because they are screwed in other way around. I'm gonna need a different kind of screwdriver. I'm gonna need this straight screwdriver, and yeah, straight screwdriver to hold it in, and one of these keys to turn it around. I have no idea why these are turned other way around than the other ones. Maybe I could be able to. Nope, still I have to use. It's kind of narrow space over here, so it's kind of complicated to unscrew this thing. So I don't really have much space to move the hand left and right. I think I should be able to unscrew it with hand now. Alright. So we don't really need to pull the screw itself out. We're gonna just pull the chassis up. So that's one, and let's see. This right side is even crampier than the left side, so I'm not sure how we're gonna do this, but if I manage to spin it just a bit, we're good. As you can see, there's very little space over here to be working here behind, but I can move it bit by bit. And yeah, I think I can try to unscrew it by hand. So now we should be able to pull the chassis up completely. So let me just take this. I don't want to lose that. Alright, so yeah. One more thing that is holding the dampers inside the head carrier is this holder over here, which we're gonna have to also remove from the chassis, but I don't really want to remove the dampers from the head, so let me just unscrew this. How many of them are they? 3. Alright, so we're gonna have to remove this holder for the tubes, and when we do that, we should put the dampers back on the head, because we don't want the head to dry off. So this one is kind of accessible, so let's see what's gonna happen with that. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff you have to remove from the chassis. All of that stuff is basically hooked up directly to the chassis, so a lot of stuff you have to think about over here and take care of. Let me just see, these are a bit small for pliers. try to spin it with this. Okay, I think it's working. But we're gonna have to drill those holes on the new carrier. I don't think that it's spinning in the hole, but let me see. Let me try this one. Very narrow space, so this is not easy at all. And it's not, when you have screws like this, it's not even practical. Best thing would be to put the screws that are going into plastic instead of these ones. So let me just see, how can I, oh yeah, what I can do is I can remove a few dampers and make this heads of these screws accessible over here, because I do have to hold them, because I think they are spinning when I spin the other side. Alright, so it's a pretty small screwdriver, and oh yeah, I am releasing it this time. It's too hard to spin around with only the hand. Okay, but I'm making slow progress over here, but I'm thinking we should put some other screws over here instead of this one, because this is pretty dang heavy to deal with. Sometimes I think I skip a few circles. But I am making a slow progress. That's the most important. I think it's gonna be easier like this. Yeah, they're kind of long. I'm almost there. Okay, so one more thing we're gonna be doing. I've removed the two screws over here that were holding this, both of these tubes for ink and water, and the ink tubes were also covered by this bracket over here, so I've removed that, and we're gonna remove this one. Is similar to this one. We're gonna remove this one as well, and then the ink tubes or the CIS system will be completely separated from this part over here and this holder for the water tubes, and we should be able to lift the chassis then up with the dampers on the head, covering the head over here, which is pretty important, because we're gonna check the head. If the head is okay, it's important that the thorns on the head remain covered. So let me just find my screwdriver and pliers, because this one has also careful not to lose the screw over here. Okay, all right. So we got that one out, and we're gonna have to put it back because this stuff is easy to lose. All right. We're gonna see if we can pull this ink bottle holder up. There are two screws over here. We have to loose up a bit to be able to remove this holder. All right, so I think I should be able to lift the holder up now. All right, so these are the two screws. You just hang it on them and then screw it back in. Okay, so you can see now the tubes are completely released. Let me just see what else is holding. One more thing that is still holding together to the chassis is this power supply cable for the UV lamp. So we're gonna have to unplug that one as well. It's secured also with a zip tie. A lot of zip ties over here on this one. You must be careful not to cut the cable instead. All right, so that's a zip tie, and we have to remove this duct tape and unplug the cable over here on the connector. So let's see if we can do that. And of course, on the reassembly, we're gonna have to cover the open contacts over here. That's maybe even a bit too much duct tape because I'm having trouble taking it off. So it's a connector you have to open like this. Okay, so this is released now. And now, the moment of truth, we should be able to lift everything up. And put it aside. That's what we're gonna do. Alright, so we got everything off. We might wanna, while we're at it, we might wanna change this thing over here. Let me just grab it with pliers because this is not the stuff you... Oh yeah, there's a lot of ink over there. So I have to grab my garbage box as well. So I can throw it away. Okay, maybe some paper to clean my hands. Okay, so there's a lot of ink over here. And since it's, you can see this is paint from the printer, I think. And it has been lifted up because it's very, the UV ink is pretty aggressive, so it lifts all the paint up. Let me just show you from close. Alright, so we're gonna have to put something else in there, maybe even from the printer that we've disassembled. The ink is dripping everywhere. There's also a lot of white ink, as you can see over here, but we simply have to clean that up, because who knows what other time would that be disassembled again. Maybe never, maybe soon, depending on how much this printer is gonna be used. But by the looks of it, this has been doing some mileage, I can tell, because there's a lot of ink over here around. And if this were 1400 instead of 1800, there would be box on the left side, but over here is just on the right, so that's a bit more easier to clean, but still. Okay, I think that we got everything out that we wanted. It's gonna be white over here, but at least it's not gonna be wet. Okay, so now we have to set this printer aside, make place for cutting and other stuff we have to do on the new chassis. And of course we're gonna have to add or move the cable for the power supply that has been plugged in the lamp over here from one chassis to from the old one to the new one. So that's also one thing we're gonna have to do. Of course, before cutting, we're gonna have to protect the main shaft. We don't want any of the metal dust to end up or stick to the main shaft, so that's the next thing we're gonna have to deal with. Okay, just wanted to show you from close how you protect this shaft over here from the metal dust before you start cutting the chassis. So this is how you have to secure it. So we have to be absolutely secure that the metal dust won't fall or stick to the shaft over here. The shaft is oiled pretty much, so it will pick up the metal dust easily, and we simply have to be sure that none of that has gone to the shaft, because you might even stick some metal dust to the shaft, but the problem is it's gonna be working, but it's not gonna be working as long as it could be working. That's the problem. So you simply have to avoid getting metal dust onto the shaft, and on this you have to be careful not to have since the chassis will be turned upside down, you have to watch for this piece over here. We don't want it to get behind over there, because it will also be slowing down the carrier while this upper part of the carrier is sliding left and right. So we also have to be careful with this part over here. But for now, since its position is behind over here, behind the place we're gonna cut, so if something falls onto that, it's not gonna be much, or maybe not at all. So this is the way you should protect the shot the head carrier is sliding on.